Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News.
Good afternoon and welcome back to WKYT News.
Well, after a snowy start to the week, we're dealing now with dangerous cold.
We had near record lows this morning. In fact, we tied a record in Lexington. We could get close to some more records later today. Let's begin with WKYT meteorologist Micah Harris on this bitterly cold November midday.
Yeah, bitterly cold is right. I mean, some of us are still in the teens. You add a little wind to that, 10 to 15 miles per hour, and you're talking about feeling outside. The wind chill, they're in the single digits. That is not fun. Let's go down toward the southeast, because that's here where we have some of those low-lying clouds. And the low-lying clouds, the closer you get to the ground, the easier it is for those flakes to fall out of the sky and make it to the ground. But I'll tell you what, it doesn't matter how high these clouds are. You're going to get any flakes falling. They'll make it to the ground. It's that cold outside. It looks good here in Madison County and around central, northern, and western Kentucky, but down in the southeast, it doesn't look that good. Still some snow there out on the sides of the roads, but the roads are actually kind of improving with that sunshine melting a lot. There's your current wind chill, 6 degrees in Lexington. We're 4 in Frankfort. That's not good. Maybe breaking a record this afternoon, but we get much better heading off toward the weekend. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and focus there on the weekend. I'll show you that coming up in about 10 minutes.
All right, let's focus on some warmer day. Thank you, Micah. The best way to stay safe in this bitterly cold weather is to stay indoors. Unfortunately, not everybody can do that.
Many people have to brave the elements just to do their work. WKYT's Sean Moody shows us how they're protecting themselves in our top story at 12:30.
A lot of people today are probably trying to figure out how they can stay inside, but for others, that outdoor work goes on. Temperatures were near record lows this morning, but that didn't stop people like crossing guards and garbage collectors.
Garbage don't stop.
They say they try to keep moving to keep the blood flowing. Doctors say the best thing to do is layer your clothes up. They said that makes it harder for the air outside to get in and cool the air under your clothes. Clifford Gentry says he's been working this job for 15 years and has staying warm down to a science.
Thermals, hoodie, an extra coat, and some of them thick socks. Thicker socks as you can possibly put in a boot.
Now, doctors say another thing to think about is sunglasses. They say all that bright white snow cover reflects a lot of UV rays, so a good pair of sunglasses is another item you should probably have. In Lexington, Sean Moody, WKYT.
Now, Lexington firefighters had to make several medical runs last night for people out in the cold. The cold weather forced schools in Breathitt County to cancel classes today. The high school has no heat and repairs won't be finished until tomorrow. The school tried to use space heaters to keep students warm, but the fire department made them stop because it created a fire hazard.
Some volunteers will be braving the weather this evening to make sure those in need have a warm place to stay. The Catholic Action Center in Lexington will begin their compassionate caravan around 8 o'clock tonight. They'll give the homeless rides to shelters in Lexington and in Georgetown. Kentucky isn't suffering through this extreme cold alone. I guess there's some comfort in that. Much of the United States is shivering from the powerful Arctic blast, including many states to our south. Indra Peterson shows us the conditions around the country.
Another frigid night for millions as bitter cold Arctic air grips nearly the entire country. Temperatures shattering records across the Midwest, with some parts in the single digits. In northern Texas on Monday, temps dropped to 9 degrees. That's the lowest on that date since 1959. A nationwide deep freeze has 50% of the U.S. now covered with snow, crippling some parts of the Midwest. In Cincinnati, parents and volunteers of a high school football team were shoveling 400 tons of the white stuff off their turf.
It'll be an ice pack, so if we don't get it off today, they're probably not going to be able to practice on the turf all week.
And in Louisville, Kentucky, almost 2,000 tons of salt covered the streets after their first major snowfall dropped nearly 5 inches, closing area schools on Monday.
My employer we're on a 3-hour delay.
Adding to the misery, up north, lake effect snow is now pummeling Michigan and New York State through Thursday. Some parts will see more than 2 feet.
And 49 of the 50 states had temperatures below freezing today.
Interstate 64 has reopened this afternoon following a crash involving a cattle truck. It happened around 5:30 this morning in Frankfort. The Franklin County Sheriff's Office says the driver fell asleep, ran off the road, and rolled up an embankment. The crash caused some cattle to get loose. The ones that survived had to be moved to a new trailer. The cold made that job even more difficult.
Trying to keep the guys warm and dry and chasing cattle. We've had a cattle chase a fireman upside of a hill. He charged one of the firefighters.
Now, several veterinarians were also called to the scene and were able to save some of the injured cows. A woman accused of providing alcohol to teens involved in a deadly crash is back in jail. The Interior Journal reports Allison Grigsby was returned to jail October 31st after escaping from home incarceration. She's accused of charging $8,000 on her grandmother's credit card and taking her grandmother's car without permission. Grigsby already faces 5 counts of unlawful transaction with a minor for the July crash that killed 16-year-old Emily Snow.
Well, a recall alert today for Ford owners. The company is recalling 65,000 Fusions. The car's ignition keys can be removed even if the transmission isn't in park. The recall covers certain 2014 and 2015 models. Ford says it is not aware of any crashes or injuries from the problem. Dealers will fix the problem for free. Well, federal guidelines for school meals may be doing more harm than good.
Also, new findings could lead to new treatments for heart attack victims. Ebony Williams has details in this Better Living report.
A study of 18,000 heart patients finds the combination drug Vytorin works better than a statin alone at reducing cholesterol and cardiovascular events. Researchers in Boston say Vytorin lowered cholesterol 20% further than just the statin Zocor, and that led to a 6% drop in heart attacks and strokes.
How much you lower the cholesterol is what leads to how much benefit you can get in preventing heart attacks and strokes.
The study was funded by Merck, which makes the drug. A new study questions whether government recommendations for school meals really help cut down on childhood obesity. The regulations require more whole grains, less saturated fat, and more fruits and vegetables. But researchers at Johns Hopkins found most of the whole grains in school lunches are processed, and the fruit and milk often contain added sugar. And smartphone apps to lose weight don't seem to work. Researchers in California found obese patients who downloaded the MyFitnessPal app to record everything they ate and drank did not lose more weight than obese patients who only used traditional methods to lose weight. And that's a look at some of the day's top health stories. Ebony Williams, CBS News, New York.
And there's much more to come on WKYT News at 12:30. Do you get stressed during the holidays? Well, if so, we have some great tips for helping make that season more joyful.
Plus, it's never too cold for good ice cream. Bluebell is here with a sample of their newest flavor, and it's just in time for the holidays.